Chapter 31. Jas told his father as much about the Impressionists as he could, leaving out no details. He watched Billy carefully, wary of his reaction. Billy might be flattered that someone had decided to honor him in this fashion, or he might be enraged that another killer dared to walk in his footsteps. It could go either way. But Billy gave no indication of how the information impacted him. He simply leaned back as far as the manacles would allow and closed his eyes, a slight, almost beatific smile on his lips, a smile that did not waver a micron as Jas recounted the events of the last week. When he finished, Billy took in a deep breath and exhaled through flaring nostrils, his eyes still closed. "Well now," he said quietly, "this is sure an interesting dilemma. And an interesting gentleman, that's for sure." His eyes popped open and he yawned, as though he'd just had a relaxing, refreshing nap. "Not sure what I can do for you, though." You know, you have admirers out there." He thought of the Free Billy Dent conspiracy theorists outside Womacket's walls. Sociopath groupies, junkies for this stuff. "I know. Women want to marry you. There's websites dedicated to you. People write you fan mail." "That they do," Billy agreed. "I don't read most of it. It's all the same junk. Billy, I pray for you every night to give me the strength to do what you done. Mr. Dent, my blood is your blood. Oh, Billy, you're the only real man on the planet. Hell, I know that. Don't need letters to tell me. Some of them, they say they want to be like me. They say they want to learn from me, be my protege. You know what? I don't need a protege. Already got one. You." Jas ignored that last bit. "He's obviously an admirer of yours. If I could look at the letters? Got rid of them. Like I said, I don't care." Jas seethed, but he forced himself to remain calm. "Maybe you remember one in particular." "Guarantee you he ain't been in touch with me." Billy stroked his jaw with fear. "He's thinking he's his own man. He's doing a whatchacallit, a theme and variation, like jazz musicians playing the same melody but making it their own tune. Like rappers, sampling old rock songs." Billy snorted. "Whatever it takes for you to understand. Sure, like them hip-hop idiots. And he's doing a fine job. No one's got away from him. Not easy, you know. Most of those jackasses, guys like Gacy and Bundy, and even that peckerhead Dahmer, most of 'em, at some point they let someone go, either on purpose or by accident. Someone gets away, and that's when the downfall starts. Not me, though." His eyes glittered the coldest sapphires in the world. "Not me. Never let a one of 'em get away. Never screwed up." "Like this guy," Jas said, dragging the conversation back to the topic at hand. "Well, he's just starting out. Any fool can kill, what, 5 people and get away with it? If he's still out there batting 1,000 after 20 or 30, then come talk to me. I'll be appropriately impressed. Bake him a cake or something." Billy lit up. "There's your answer, Jasper. You don't gotta catch this guy, just wait. He'll trip on his own feet at some point, and then you got him." "That's hardly an acceptable solution," Jas said calmly. Billy shrugged. "Why not? 5 dead, 15 dead, 50 dead. Everyone dies, that's a fact. The timing of it just a detail. I don't want any more people to die." "Really?" Billy leaned in close, almost touching the invisible fence again. "Really, Jasper? 'Cause let me tell you something. I think you don't really care about these people. And you know how I know that?" "Tell me," Jas said tonelessly, but inside his heart pounded at the idea of being psychoanalyzed by the man who knew him best. "Because these people, these mythical people out there somewhere, the ones he ain't killed yet, You don't know them, Jasper. They ain't nothing to you. So why should you care if he kills them? Right now, someone's dying. Billy thumped the table lightly with his fist, the love moving down, then up. And now? Thump went love again. And now? Thump. Some beggar in India. Some Mexican on the border. Some girl in New York City, thinking she's going to be a model, but just got turned out to whoring instead. All of them dying now. Thump. And now. Thump. And now. Thump. And now. Thump. And what do you care? What do I care? Just because they're abstract doesn't mean they don't matter, Jas said, forcing his voice not to quake or tremble, or otherwise betray emotion. Because Billy was right. To a degree. People died all the time. He didn't know them, or even know about them. So did they matter? People matter. People are real. You don't care about saving his prospects. You care about yourself. About making sure no one thinks you were involved. About proving you can be a regular citizen like all the others. That's what you care about, Jasper. It was the truth. Not a truth he wanted or needed to hear, but a truth nonetheless. But maybe it wasn't the whole truth. Maybe there was more to the truth than Billy's cynicism. My motives don't matter, he told Billy. You agree to help. Are you going to help or not? Billy clucked his tongue. So impatient. I ain't seen my boy in years. Can you blame me for dragging things out a little? He flashed a full-on angelic grin, like a child caught swiping a cookie. Jas would have none of it. He stared at his father. Oh, all right, Billy said, slumping in his chair. You ain't no fun. Look, you gotta learn how to think like this guy. Shouldn't be hard for you, Jasper. He's thinking like me, and you're part of me. He's an impressionist. Don't you know anything about impressionism? Jas shook his head. What are they teaching you in school these days? Billy said, in his best parody of a concerned parent. Jas had the feeling that Billy would, if he could, kill every last teacher in Lobo's nod just to make his point. Impressionism ain't about what is. It's about the overall impression of things, see? It's about the effect of something on the eye, not the exact details. You follow? I guess. Now this last poor victim, this poor Heller woman? Billy did a passable job of sounding mournful about her passing. She wasn't exactly a maid, but she was close enough, see? That's what mattered to him. He also killed her too soon. You had to delay between your fourth and fifth. So? Go to a museum sometime, son, and look at a Monet. Get real close as they'll let you, and then you tell me what day it was when good old Claude painted one brush stroke as opposed to another. Timing didn't matter. Not to this guy. He cares about the overall effect. That made sense, but it didn't resolve the essential problem. How does that help us figure out who his next victim is? Billy sighed and looked skyward as if asking the good Lord why he had to do all the work himself. Look at ways he can twist the details, son, that still keep the overall effect. Like your teacher. She wasn't exactly an actress, but close enough. Same thing here. He's not going after some blonde piece of tail in an office building. He's looking for the secretary of the Rotary Club, or the gal who makes coffee at the PTA meetings. But nothing, Billy said, showing some heat for the first time. This guy's being accurate, Jasper, not precise. He bumped off some 2-bit coffee and hash slinger from the local grease pit. My girl? She was a waitress at a fancy bistro right near the beach. Lot of tourist trade. Made more in tips in one night than this guy's girl made in a week. Billy spoke possessively, as if he owned his prospects. In a way, maybe he did. His contempt for the impressionist was suddenly all too obvious. I killed Vanessa Dawes. Beautiful Vanessa, he sighed and leaned back, his expression that of a man remembering a gourmet meal. She was an actress. Just starting out, sure, but she'd been on TV and she had promise. This guy, who'd he kill? Your drama teacher? Your drama teacher? And that's supposed to be the same thing? Are you kidding me? Excitement and anger both coursed through Jas at the same time, and he struggled not to let either one show. This was it. What he'd been looking for. He should have seen it all along. The Impressionist was sticking to the spirit of Billy's crimes, changing the letter to suit his own needs. Each victim was so close to Billy's that Jas hadn't seen the differences. How had he missed that? Find the victim, and we find him, Jas said. Maybe. But you also have to figure out how to identify this guy. He's a part of our little hometown, sonny boy, Billy grinned. He's getting his breakfast at the coffee shop and probably checking books out of the library. He feels comfortable in Lobo's nod, killing so many there. Yeah, he feels comfortable there. A thought buzzed along the back of Jas's mind. You think he's a native? Someone from town who knew you, maybe? Or from nearby? Billy shrugged again. Don't really matter. What matters is he fits in. Doesn't stand out. That's our biggest and best skill, Jasper. People think it's knowing how to cut up a body or seducing a pretty little thing into your car. Nah, that's bull. That's stuff you can learn on the internet. Our real skill is blending in. That's what we're good at. He flashed again, grin. They never see us coming, son, 'cause we look just like they do. We look human. Jas's mind was spinning. This was it. The key to catching the Impressionist. He had to tell G. William right away. He stood up. Are we done already? Billy asked hurt. I ain't had time to ask you about your Little League games and your soccer practice. Jas looked down at his father's hands. Love. Fear. I have to go. With great difficulty, he said. Thanks for your help. I really appreciate it. He called to the CEO at the door. Don't forget our agreement, Jasper, his father said as the CEO came in. Don't you dare forget. I won't, Jas promised, and he made for the door. The CEOs unshackled Billy from the table and hoisted him to his feet by his elbows. Jasper. Jas was out the door, but he turned to look back at his father, manacled, surrounded by trained, armed men, and still utterly in charge. Yeah? The way you came in here, wearing your armor, the coldest, baddest son of a bitch on the planet? The way you agreed with me about things, slinging that line of bull pucky about the kids' gloves and all that? You were manipulating me, and did a damn fine job of it, too. The words and the sincerity behind them slid down Jas's spine like an icicle threading his vertebrae. I'm not you. You're better, Billy said. I'm not evil. Saying that to anyone else under any other circumstances would have felt hyperbolic. Here and now, and to Billy, it felt like not enough. Billy's lips curled in a smirk. Want to know the difference between good and evil, Jasper? Without waiting for an answer, Billy raised his right hand. Love? And snapped his fingers. That's it, kid. That's the difference. You won't even know you've crossed the line until it's way back in your rearview mirror. That's enough, Billy, one of the CEOs growled, and they dragged him through the other door. If Jas expected his father to shout out one last parting shot, he was disappointed. Billy Dent vanished, silent but for the rattle and clank of his chains, into the depths of Waimea State Penitentiary. Deputy Hanson said nothing the whole way home, once again letting his lead foot and the siren do all the speaking for him. The constant wail and blare sledge-hammered their way into Jas's skull and bred a nice little headache there. He tried to ignore it, focusing instead on making himself heard over the shriek as he talked to G. William on Howie's phone. And he thinks she won't be what we think of as a traditional secretary, he went on. Maybe not even a position that goes by the title of secretary, but something that could be construed as, secretarial.